Okay, thank you all the dignitaries. As we commence today's proceedings, it is only fitting that we invoke the blessings of Goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of knowledge, wisdom, learning, and creativity. In an institution dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and service, her blessings inspire us to seek excellence with humility and wisdom. Let us now begin this auspicious occasion with Saraswati Vandana. Mic.
हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां तू स्वर की देवी है संगीत तुझसे हर शब्द तेरा हर गीत तुझसे हम हैं अकेले हम हैं अधूरे तेरी शरण में हमें प्यार दे मां हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां मुनियों ने समझी है गुनियों ने जानी वेदों की भाषा पुराणों की वाणी हम भी तो समझे हम भी तो जाने विद्या का हमको अधिकार दे मां हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां तू श्वेत वर्णी कमल पे विराजे हाथों में बीना मुकुट सर पे साजे मन से हमारे मिटा दो अंधेरे उजालों का हमको संसार दे मां हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां हे शारदे मां हे शारदे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां अज्ञानता से हमें तार दे मां
Thank you for the beautiful and soul-stirring invocation. Now, every institution has a story of vision, dedication, perseverance, and progress. As we celebrate another Foundation Day, we take a moment to reflect on the journey of growth and service that our institution has witnessed over the past year. These achievements are not merely numbers, they represent the trust of our patients, the commitment of our healthcare professionals, and the collective efforts of everyone who contributes to this institution's mission. Before we proceed with the oration, I invite Dr. Mimosa to kindly recount the inspiring journey of our institution and celebrate the milestones that brought us to this proud moment.
नहीं है ये नहीं है सिंक ही नहीं हुई होगी कोई उसकी है क्या बोलते हैं ये नहीं चल रहा एक मिनट
फोल्डर में ही है, ये है
नहीं सिंक ही नहीं हुई आपकी।
सिंक हो गई
कौन सा वाला है?
सर, फोल्डर किसी ने ना वो कर दिया है।
हाँ दिया। हाँ
ये सर फोल्डर मिनिमाइज करना है, काटना नहीं है,
ठीक है।
क्योंकि ये आईपी के थ्रू चल रहा है। ठीक है जी, मैं उधर से
Sorry for the technical interruption. I once again invite Dr. Mimosa to tell us about the Foundation Day and the developments of our institution.
Good morning. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I extend a warm welcome to our respected chief guest, Swami Krishnananji, Medical Superintendent Sir, esteemed faculty, distinguished guests, staff members, and my dear colleagues. It is my privilege to welcome you all to the 5th Foundation Day Oration of AIMSS Shimla, organized by the Department of Neurology. Before I start, I would like to quote that perfectly reflects our vision. The true measure of any healthcare institution is not the size of its buildings, but the number of lives it transforms with compassion, excellence, and service. Today, as we stand on the 7th floor of this institution that began with a foundation stone in August 2017, we are not just celebrating years, we celebrate the lives touched, surgeries performed, and the hopes restored. I feel honored to present a quick overview of the achievements of this institute. AIMSS is the first standalone and premier super specialty hospital dedicated to providing advanced, affordable, and patient-centric medical care to the people of Himachal Pradesh. The foundation stone laid in August 2017, and it was established in June 2021. By October 25, all the departments had successfully shifted to this campus. Today, AIMSS stands as a symbol of the state's commitment to delivering world-class super specialty healthcare within Himachal Pradesh. Now about the infrastructure of our hospital. Our infrastructure continues to expand steadily. The main block is almost fully operational. To further strengthen patient care, construction of the additional block is underway behind this building. Simultaneously, work on a dedicated 50-bedded critical care block is also progressing. These three projects will significantly enhance our capacity to manage critically ill patients and meet the growing healthcare demands of the region. Currently, AIMSS is providing services through 9 super specialty departments: gastroenterology, endocrinology, neurology, plastic surgery, urology, nephrology, cardiology, cardiothoracic and vascular surgery, and cardiac anesthesia. These 9 departments work together to provide comprehensive multidisciplinary care using modern diagnostic and therapeutic facilities. At present, the institute has 324 bed strength, 57 ICU beds, along with 12 semi-private rooms, 30 emergency beds. So all these facilities ensure that we are well equipped to manage routine admissions, critical care, and emergency services efficiently. Now moving to our 24-hour into 7 round-the-clock services, we have 24/7 CT scan, X-ray, and ultrasonography, along with indoor lab services with 24/7 blood storage center. And recently, we have also started our renal dialysis. Now having our clinical achievements, similarly, we have successfully managed 4,860 inpatient admission, which reflects our expanding capacity to provide specialized inpatient care. This steady rise in patient footfall is the testimony of our consultant, resident doctors, and nursing staffs, technicians, and all the supporting personnel whose collective efforts and dedication continue to strengthen the reputation of AIMSS. Here, this is the data from 1st April 2025 to 31st March 26. In just 12 months, AIMSS Shimla have performed 9,299 surgeries, which include 6,895 minor and 2,404 major surgeries. But number alone do not show the effort the journey does. Hence, the achievements of an organization are the results of the combined effort of each individual, but not last but not the least. From 16 to 6895, from starting small to serving big. This is not just growth, this is the trust earned, and one patient at a time. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Mimosa, for that inspiring account of our institution's growth and achievements. A big round of applause once again, please. It is in the spirit of service, compassion, and continuous learning that we now move forward to our Foundation Day Oration. The Foundation Day Oration is a cherished tradition of our institute, bringing us face-to-face with distinguished personalities whose lives and work inspire us to look beyond the boundaries of our own disciplines. This year, we are privileged to have with us revered spiritual teacher whose message of inner balance, self-awareness, and purposeful living resonates deeply with the ideals of holistic well-being. To formally introduce our esteemed orator, I would like to invite our respected MS and Head of Department Neurology, Dr. Sudhir Sharma, to present the introduction of our oration speaker. Sir, please.
आज के इस समारोह के मुख्य अतिथि आदरणीय पूजनीय स्वामी श्री श्री कृष्णानंद जी, उनके साथ आए वरिष्ठ योगदा के सदस्य श्री एम.एल. चौहान जी, पंकज ललित जी, दिवाकर जी और यहाँ उपस्थित आईजीएमसी की प्रधानाचार्य डॉक्टर सीता ठाकुर और हमारे एम्स चमियाना के संकाय सदस्य, आईजीएमसी से आए हमारे संकाय सदस्य, यहाँ उपस्थित सभी एम्स चमियाना के रेजिडेंट डॉक्टर्स, नर्सेज, पैरामेडिकल स्टाफ और हमारे सैनिटेशन सिक्योरिटी, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आज के इस कार्यक्रम में। एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर के रूप में, एक चिकित्सालय के एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर के रूप में मैं पाता हूँ कि मैं हमेशा कटघरे में खड़ा हूँ। जो राज्य का प्रशासन है वो कह रहा है कि आप हमें रिजल्ट नहीं दे रहे हैं, और जो हमारे चिकित्सालय के हमारे बंधु हैं वो कह रहे हैं कि आप हमें सुविधाएं नहीं दे रहे हैं। अब जो सुविधाएं हैं वो हमारे हाथ में नहीं हैं, तो कई बार समस्याएं इस प्रकार की आ जाती हैं कि आप कुछ किंग कर्तव्य विमूढ़ हो जाते हो कि करें तो क्या करें। हमारे पास डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर या संसाधन नहीं है और रिजल्ट्स हमें देने हैं। मरीज़ तो हमारे पास आ रहा है, हम उसको जो हमें 6 महीने बाद बजट आएगा तब हम कुछ करेंगे, उसका तो हम इंतज़ार नहीं कर सकते। तो इस प्रकार की जो नित्य प्रति समस्याएं हैं जिनसे हम जूझते हैं, तो कई बार मैं सोचता हूँ कि क्यों और क्या और कैसे करें। तो इन्हीं समस्याओं से जूझते हुए कि आगे का रास्ता है क्या, और ये तो केवल हमारे प्रोफेशन से रिलेटेड समस्याएं, हमारे जीवन में भी, हमारे व्यक्तिगत जीवन में, परिवार में कई बार ऐसी समस्याएं, ऐसी हमारे पास परिस्थितियां उत्पन्न आ जाती हैं कि हमारे पास कोई उत्तर नहीं है, क्या करें। किसी को अचानक से ऐसी कोई बीमारी हो गई जो बिल्कुल स्वस्थ था, अब वो क्या करे। किसी को आर्थिक समस्या है, किसी को मानसिक समस्या है, मतलब समस्याओं का कोई अंत नहीं है। और महाभारत में युधिष्ठिर कहते हैं कि का पंथा, फिर करें क्या। श्रुतिर्विभिन्ना मतिर्विभिन्ना न एको मुनि यस्य वचः प्रमाण, कि हर एक, आप हिंदुस्तान में कहीं भी जाएंगे आपको हर कोई व्यक्ति कुछ ना कुछ हल अपना बता देगा। डॉक्टर से ज़्यादा दूसरे सामान्य जन डॉक्टर हैं, वो हल बता देंगे, तो पर प्रामाणिक कोई नहीं है। श्रुतिर्विभिन्ना मतिर्विभिन्ना न चेको मुनि यस्य वचः प्रमाण, धर्मस्य तत्वम निहिता गुहायाम। जो सत्य का, जो तत्व का जो रहस्य है बहुत ही गंभीर, बहुत ही कठिन है। अब तुम रास्ता कैसे ढूंढें। तो अंत में वो कहते हैं महाजनो येन गता सपंता, कि जहाँ पे महापुरुष लोग गए हैं उस रास्ते का तो अनुसरण कर सकते हैं। तो इसी श्रृंखला में हमने ये प्रयास किया कि हम एक ओरेशन, एक ये शुरू करें, प्रारंभ करें कि कुछ ऐसे व्यक्ति यहाँ आएँ जो हमें हमारी दिनचर्या की उधेड़-बुन से बाहर निकालकर कुछ एक नया, एक उम्मीद दें, एक नया आयाम दें, और हम जो एक प्रकार से अपनी समस्याओं से बिल्कुल पूरी तरह से स्तब्ध हो जाते हैं, हमें बाहर निकलने का रास्ता बताएं। क्योंकि जो पढ़ा है, जो लिखा है, हर चीज़ के बारे में तर्क और वितर्क मिल जाते हैं, तो उस पे कैसे हम निर्भर करें। तो वो यही कहते हैं कि महाजनो येन गता सपंता, कि जिस रास्ते पे महापुरुष गए हैं। तो यही हमारा हर वर्ष एक प्रयास रहता है कि हम अपने इस चिकित्सालय के स्थापना दिवस पे किसी ऐसे व्यक्तित्व को बुलाएं, ऐसे महाजन को बुलाएं जो हमें पंथ दिखाए। इसी श्रृंखला में पिछले वर्ष हमारे पास संजना गोयल जी आई थी, और बहुत ही ज़्यादा इंस्पायरिंग उनकी भी जर्नी थी कि वो स्वयं बीमारियों से ग्रस्त होकर दूसरों को ठीक कर रहे हैं। और इस वर्ष तो हमारा बहुत सौभाग्य है कि हमारे पास एक ऐसा व्यक्तित्व है जिन्होंने अपना जीवन ही पंथ क्या है, का पंथा, इसी विषय पर पूरा अपना जीवन, अपना सर्वस्व उसी को ढूंढने में लगा दिया है। तो स्वामी जी का मैं परिचय क्या दूँ, ये तो सूर्य को दीपक दिखाने जैसा होगा, परंतु जो पर्टिकुलर्स होते हैं, क्या, कब, कैसे, कहाँ किया, जो आंतरिक एक यात्रा है वो तो कोई नहीं बता सकता है, पर स्वामी जी जो हैं एक बहुत ही विशिष्ट परिवार से आते हैं। और डॉक्टर सीवी रमन उनके ग्रेट ग्रेट अंकल रहे हैं, डॉक्टर एस चंद्रशेखर उनके अंकल रहे हैं। और अगर हमारे मेडिकल स्टाफ में कोई खासकर गायनी में डॉक्टर वी शांता का नाम किसी ने सुना होगा, जिन्होंने शी इज़ अ डॉयन ऑफ ऑन्कोलॉजी इन इंडिया, वो भी इन्हीं के परिवार से संबंधित रही हैं। तो ऐसे इलस्ट्रियस फैमिली से स्वामी जी आते हैं। और उसके बाद इन्होंने भी आईआईटी बॉम्बे से अपनी इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियरिंग में शिक्षा हासिल की, उसके बाद यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ टोरंटो से, उसके बाद उन्होंने जर्मनी में और कोलंबिया में एज अ टीचर कुछ समय तक कार्य किया। और उसके बाद का पंथा रास्ता क्या है, इसके लिए ये सब छोड़कर योगदान सत्संग सोसाइटी सेल्फ रियलाइजेशन फेलोशिप ज्वाइन की है। और वैसे हमारे मन में तो होता होगा कि कोई अगर व्यक्ति सन्यासी बन के कोई संस्था ज्वाइन करता है तो दिन भर ध्यान और बस वही करता होगा, पर ऐसा नहीं है। स्वामी जी का जीवन हम जब देखते हैं तो हमसे भी ज़्यादा बिजी रहा है। उन्होंने योगदान सत्संग सोसाइटी के विभिन्न क्रियाकलापों में बढ़ चढ़ कर हिस्सा लिया है। अनेक जो प्रोजेक्ट हैं इनके निर्देशन में संपन्न हुए हैं, चाहे वो आश्रम की स्थापना हो, चाहे वो सुनामी के दौरान जो सहायता प्रदान की गई वो हो। और उनके होने मात्र से ही एक जो प्रेरणा हमें मिलती है वो उनके जीवन की जो साधना है उसी का एक परिणाम है। और स्वामी जी लगभग 25 वर्षों से योग की जो है रिट्रीट्स जो हैं यहाँ पर चला रहे हैं। स्वामी जी हर वर्ष शिमला आते हैं और उनके सानिध्य का हमें सौभाग्य प्राप्त होता है। तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ अब मैं स्वामी जी को आमंत्रित करूँगा कि वे हमें भी मार्गदर्शन दें, हमें भी रास्ता दिखाएं। स्वामी जी। Arranged for that experiment also, Swamiji.
Pardon?
We have arranged for that experiment also. You wanted to show that.
No, no.
You want that?
I have printed it out. So he has all the documents.
If you want to show, you can show that.
Not necessary. डॉक्यूमेंट्स इनको देना डॉक्टर लोगों को देने के लिए। First of all, I will start with my appreciation of this institution and also for this special invitation that I have been given to address this audience here. And for us, it is a very special day because tomorrow happens to be the International World Yoga Day. And we'll be celebrating that tomorrow, but today we may say that we are starting the celebration by celebrating here this foundation anniversary. Consciousness research, my main intention now is not so much to, I believe that most of you are doctors here, so I'm addressing it mainly to the doctors. Consciousness research, this is one area which is getting more and more importance in various fields of science and physics, such as physics, biology, psychology, neurosciences, and so on. More and more scientists are now agreeing that consciousness is the ultimate fundamental basis of existence. It is not a product of development of brain cells and first starting with matter and then coming into this consciousness. Consciousness is not evolving like that, in that manner. Even Nobel laureates like Max Planck, Schrödinger, and so on have come to this conclusion that consciousness came first and the rest followed. There are many scientists who don't believe in the existence of God. The main reason behind this is the concept of what God means. But no one can deny the existence of consciousness. Scientists want to have experimental proof of everything. But consciousness does not fall into the category of such experimental proofs. Why? Because such experiments depend on information gathered through the senses. In the system of Eightfold Steps of Yoga of Patanjali, we have Yama, Niyama, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dhyan, Dharana, Samadhi. When you reach the state of Pratyahara, beyond that, you cannot go with senses. From there, senses cease to exist. Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi, they are beyond these senses. So you cannot depend on sense information for coming to the conscious level of consciousness. Even Advaita philosophy of Adi Shankaracharya says also that consciousness is the ultimate truth. It is a nirunachariyam. You cannot describe it in human words, but it can be known only through experience. All the saints of all different religions say the same thing. And this experience is gained by meditation. All over the world now, meditation is getting more and more importance. So I thought of considering if this meditation can be explained in some way scientifically, that will be acceptable to the scientists. So I had prepared this talk and delivered it some years ago at Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. Scientists are fond of definitions. The Hindu scriptures define God in such a beautiful way that the scientists cannot deny it also. God in our Hindu religion or Sanatana Dharma is defined as Sat, Chit, Ananda, which we can translate into English as existence, consciousness, bliss. In other words, the word God stands for existence itself, which no one can deny. And if one tries to deny it, at least the one who denies has to exist. So God stands for consciousness. This means consciousness is aware of existence. We are all aware that we exist, that things exist. And lastly, the definition involves ananda, bliss. This attribute also we are aware of in our lives in one way or the other. The word God then actually what it means is all of existence, all of consciousness, all of the infinite unconditional bliss. This God, when He decided to create this universe, including us, did it by modifying Himself. So I have distributed some diagram to some of you. You can refer to this diagram. That there is a dotted line. There is a dotted line here, and this dotted line that comes down below, that is the realm what is called ego. That ego represents some kind of a bubble that God has blown out of Himself and connected with Himself through a veil called Maya. This Maya is instrumental to creating the bubble, maintaining it as a separate entity. Now, why did He create this? Why He is maintaining it are questions for which there are no answers which are acceptable to our intellect. There are many things in our own lives that we cannot explain why. For example, I like to eat this. I don't like to eat something else. One cannot explain it away by saying, well, I like and non-dislike. All this is some kind of a release of some kind of endorphins in my brain. that makes me like or dislike, but that way there is no argument. Because whatever I like, you may not like, somebody else may not like. So, if we cannot judge why we like something, how can we judge what God likes to do? Anyway, the aim of this presentation is not to answer this question of why of creation. Let's go back to this model that I have prepared. It's a kind of block diagram. In that we have one block that is called imagination, karma, memory, habits, innate inspiration, and God's will. These are various motivating factors which create the next block that is called desire. That comes below. It is this desire that makes us act. It is done by following this desire through our intelligence, wisdom, our feelings and concepts about what we desire. That is that one block there below that is referred to there as intelligence, wisdom, feeling and concepts. So the desire is projected there. And this in turn is fed by amplifiers and transmitters, which in turn activate the 5 organs of senses and 5 organs of action. It is generation, motion, speech, manual skill, etc. These organs of action are set into motion and act on 5 objects of senses. These objects are solids, liquids, gases, fiery or etheric in nature. These objects of senses are brought in touch with 5 organs of senses. Smell, sight, taste, touch, and so on. So this is the next step. Now then what happens? There is a comparator, it says there is a block there. The information now, after coming into touch with the objects of senses, is fed back and then comparison made. Is this what I desire? What is the difference between the desire and what has come from these senses? Now, if that and this match together, called satisfaction or dissatisfaction. If there is satisfaction, okay, desire is fulfilled. But if there is not satisfaction, that is fed back into the same circle and come back to do more action so that the desire can be fulfilled. So this is a circuit, goes on and on and on. Until either the desire is fulfilled or we get tired of further action because it's not good. There is also we'll see one impulsive bypass that is there from desire. Sometimes the desire may be so strong and the habits that it bypasses the intelligence and wisdom and other things and goes straight into the world of activate the organs of senses, action, and then sets into motion, such as bad habits, uncontrolled anger. Something may impulsively drive me into that. Doing something may be right or it may be wrong. For example, if I'm driving and there is sudden kind of danger involved, automatically bypassing all these other in between, we push the brake, saving from accident. The desires are not caused only by something that is in me, within me, my own tendencies, but also from external other sources. For example, advertising. And get constantly bombarded with various types of things that create more desire. The desire may be weak at one time, but then circumstances, peer pressure, some other pressures on the individual may create a desire for it, and then that start again, one more cycle starts. So there is a circle: karma, desire, organs of action, organs of senses, objects of senses, organs of senses, satisfaction or dissatisfaction, and back to karma. That is all fed back into the karmic pattern, and so this circle goes on and on. Not just one life, maybe for many lives. And we get bound into that bubble. That bubble is called ego. This is a self-organized thing. You may call it, in the words of Rupert Sheldrake, one Cambridge scientist, maybe he called this ego maybe a morphic field. The thing is, all these above activities take place within our bodies, in the body-mind system, particularly in the cerebrospinal system. All the karma, memory, imagination is within our own brain and spine. The energy flows down from brain into the organs, into the spine and out to do these actions outside, and sort of grabbing to fulfill the desire. These tendencies are put together, we call them pravritti, outgoing tendencies. This goes on for a while until someday, by some built-in mechanism, there is an inner awakening, an inquiry about this whole drama and its purpose. Some painful experience can also create this, trigger this awakening. Sometimes it can also come from past life and make us ask these questions. Some even small children can also start asking questions. Who am I? Where did I come from? Who is God? Is he real or somebody's imagination? Such questions start arising in our minds. This is called a kind of awakening. And this creates a desire to know what is all this about. And that desire, if it becomes intense, going into the same circle, start with some action to fulfill that desire to know what it is, until we get satisfactory answer. One of the actions needed to satisfy this awakening is called meditation. The tendencies which make us ask such questions, take necessary action, they are called in our language nivritti, meaning liberation. That in turn leads to freedom, leading to wavelessness, freedom from this whirlpool in which we have got stuck. The process of meditation, one tries, there are several steps involved. First of all, we try to stop this cycle that is happening inside, we try to stop it. It is an activity to become inactive. What does it involve? The body is made still. That means 5 organs of action have to be made quiet. Then the 5 organs of senses are set off. Nothing comes in from outside. Eyes are closed. No eating. Hopefully we are away from some kitchen so that the smell doesn't bother me. A quiet place so that the external noise and sounds don't bother me. Sits comfortably in such a way that the body doesn't give me any problem. The organ by the sense of touch. The sight is turned within and focused at the point between the eyebrows. Then, according to the instructions of the guru or teacher, we start doing some inner activity to get those answers, what we are seeking, through this process of meditation. These actions may involve singing, doing japa of some mantra, whatever the teacher has taught us. It may even involve just watching the breathing going on. What happens inside, we go more and more within. So all the energy and consciousness that we're playing outward are withdrawn, inward. But the mind is not so easy to control. The mind is restless, keeps running around, searches for images from the past, keeps us bound to the subconscious level. But if we persist on following the instructions of the Guru, then these energy flowing outward gets withdrawn and inverted. The senses are turned on it themselves. And what may happen, a person may start to seeing different lights, start hearing some sounds. Or start feeling some consciousness energy going within, and break the sense of identity with this ego. This ego is what I call surface consciousness, bound to this I am this body. This starts with the physical ego. Why break this attachment to this and go inside? Until now, at least, present day science has not yet recognized something very fundamental. That is what is called in our language prana. Prana is a very subtle kind of energy that is within us that keeps the body going and keeps us active. All of us have heard again and again say somebody, oh, उनके प्राण चले गए. प्राण चले गए, लेकिन प्राण क्या है वो पता नहीं है. Nobody knows. And they don't want to recognize either because that cannot be proven. But through this experience, when the energy withdraws, sense of sight withdraws and turns itself, and I see this is the sense of sight of prana. Hearing is done by another kind of prana. Tasting by another kind of prana. This state of total withdrawal is called pratyahar in the language of yoga. In the engineering, we have a concept of what we call positive feedback, in which the output of the system is fed back into the system. And this is a very subtle kind of phenomenon that takes place when you feed back. Then positive feedback leads to some kind of a cycle. What is going out, again fed back. Once again it is fed back, and it can result in instability, oscillations. This pratyahara is similar to the positive feedback. Take the sense of sight. Energy from the is a kind of electrical or chemical impulses is flowing into the brain through the retinas. There are transponders and change this signal going in, and some transformation takes place, and actually what we see is seeing by the brain, not by the physical eyes. It is only an instrument. Once it goes in, then it is processed inside. Now, what will happen when I turn my eyes upward and go in? There is a process of seeing. The seer. Who is the seer? This is a kind of a positive feedback of the prana going in. Instead of going out, it is going in, and it sets up a cycle. Some of you must have received this. I did one experiment to see how it will happen and see if I can demonstrate it. I took a TV and a video camera and connected them with a cord. Output of the video camera went into the TV input. Generally, what will happen if I turn the video camera to the audience, I will see the audience. TV will show the audience. Whatever it is saying, it is being seen on the screen. But what if I turn the camera toward the TV itself? Then we set up a positive feedback loop. And this is what happens. The video camera is like an eye. This represents the brain in which the seeing is being done, and the cord is a nerve that is connecting the eye to the brain. Now there is a positive feedback loop established here back, and you see what happens. It turns itself into what we call a third eye or spiritual eye. This is a positive feedback. Now the same thing can be done with sense of hearing also. That is very easy to demonstrate. If I just put this mic in front of the loudspeaker, you get a positive feedback. And all that we will hear, whoo, big noise will come out because of the positive feedback of this. The same thing happens inside. That prana of hearing is turned back on itself, and there's a positive feedback, and I start hearing sounds. These sounds may be of different types, depending upon, we may start hearing humming sound, we may start hearing some bell sound or rushing waters or some other sounds. Different sounds can happen. But this is not so easy. Even this, to get this picture I showed you, it takes a lot of effort. A small amount of light here and there can set the thing haywire, and I can get only some confusion on the screen. But if this is perfectly still, properly focused on the screen, and it's stabilized, then you see the spiritual eye. So it takes a lot of time, practice, patience, effort. In the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the meditation is defined as Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Chitta means consciousness, Vritti means waves, Nirodha means control. Controlling, stabilizing the alternative waves of consciousness. Similar to the process of sleeping, but sleep is, usually we go to sleep unconsciously, we don't, but there are ways of, methods of being going into sleep consciously and waking up consciously. Very highly advanced yogis are able to still the mind for a long time, and then they are aware of this, who they are, and this bubble breaks and their consciousness expands into all existence, consciousness, and bliss. There are several scientific researches that were done for the last 30-40 years. When there was a generation when they in the US they started getting drug addicts. These researches on hallucinating drugs and so on, what sort of effect they have on the brain, the research began. There was one doctor called Herbert Benson, and he went into Ladakh to investigate this more, the body-mind relationship. What happens? He experimented on the Tibetan lamas to see what sort of meditation they do. And particularly there is a system there they have, it is called Tumu breathing, in which they even have competitions of several lamas at one time. In the frozen cold, outer degree may be very hot, cold, minus so many degrees. They take a towel, dip it into freezing cold water, wrap themselves around with that naked body, and they start this breathing process, and it becomes dry. How many times how many towels they can dry up? There is a competition. The more the number of they can dry up. So he experimented with all these body-mind relationships and wrote a beautiful book called The Relaxation Response. Then came, in the 70s, there was also another area of research called thanatology, near-death experiences, in which some people had died and they came back, and then they were interviewed on what happened to them, this and that, all. And their experiences that they told, what they saw or what they experienced during the process of death, is very similar to what we have in yoga. Like seeing a tunnel of light, going through a tunnel of light, getting out of this body consciousness, expanding into a world outside. Whatever they have described, hearing different sounds, they are all very similar to what yogis experience. And in the 1990s, a new system came up for doing research on this using PET, positron emission tomography, and in which they see what is happening in different areas of the brain. And two doctors went into work into this area using this method, and they wrote a beautiful book that was published in, I think, 2001 by Dr. Andrew Newberg and Eugene D. Achille. That book is entitled Why God Won't Go Away. What they did was they took a group of Buddhist monks and Christian nuns and who have had quite a bit of experience in meditation, and they put them into this PET scan and injected them with a dye and started studying which way the blood is going in the state of meditation. Whichever area of the brain lit up more, that is where the blood was flowing more. And where it was less, that area was shutting down. This Newberg and Diakili found that in peak meditation experiences, they tend to deactivate the region in the brain responsible for keeping track of physical orientation of the body in space. I think that is called posterior superior parietal lobe. This is where the brain, in this area of the brain, the stimuli are processed, which gives a sensation of feeling of separation from the body and surrounding, what I call surface consciousness. And the blood was increasing in the frontal cortex, area of concentration. So these two doctors theorized that the activity of orientation area decreased because area that was being deprived of the sensory stimuli or sensory inputs. With this sensory input reduced, orientation area becomes less aware of the boundaries of the physical self, become less aware of the usual sense of finite three-dimensional space. So these doctors were saying in that book that such experiences are built into human being, a human system. Man is sort of hardwired to experiences when the conditions are right. Newberg says that is why religion thrives in the age of reason. You simply cannot think God out of existence because religious feelings arises more from experience than from my thought. They are born in a moment of spiritual connection, as real to the brain as the perception of ordinary physical reality. These researchers are proving that our sages and our yogis of thousands of years ago, whatever they told us and taught us, which is very much valid. That is the science of yoga. Yoga is a science, not a religion. And I say that yoga is the greatest gift that this country has given to the world all over. And tomorrow, the whole world will be celebrating International Yoga Day. I would like to urge the younger generations to give this a serious thought. Dr. Chandrasekhar, who happens to be my uncle, he was once asked the question, has your personal life been complete and happy? He answered, I don't believe that a true scientist can ever have a complete personal life. I sometimes wonder whether all that I did and accomplished in my life, was it really worth? Another great scientist whose name is very well known, physicist, Lord Kelvin. Temperatures are measured by his name, Kelvins. When they were celebrating 50 years of his being a professor of physics, he was asked to address. And in that address, he said, one word characterizes the most tenuous efforts for the advancement of science that I have made perseveringly during the 50 years. And that word is failure. I know no more of electric and magnetic force, of the relationship between ether, electricity, and ponderable matter than I knew and tried to teach my students of natural philosophy 50 years ago, in my first lesson as a professor. Why am I quoting these? I'm not criticizing them. They are great souls. They did their best in their own areas and they were shining stars. I am doing it only with one intention, to convey to the younger generation that the lives of these scientists show there are two sides of our life. One the inner, the other is outer. And mostly we are concentrating on the outer part and neglecting the inner. It is only when we give due attention to the inner life as well as outer life, then our life can become complete and balanced. I'll close here with a word of thanks and hope that the younger generations to come will take this seriously and make their life more complete and happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji, for those insightful and inspiring words. And we are truly grateful for your presence on this special occasion. As a token of our gratitude and deep appreciation, we would now like to felicitate our esteemed orator, Swami Krishnanandji, and may I request Professor Dr. Sudhir Sharma to kindly come forward and felicitate Swamiji. So thank you to all our esteemed guests and speakers for gracing this occasion and contributing to this success. And
So, once again, I would like to thank Swamiji for his inspiring address. And maybe we take up the search for our inner selves more seriously and do not think of it as something superstitious or hocus pocus. And so, at the conclusion of this session, I would like to thank all our esteemed audience for sparing their valuable time coming here, and also our support staff, the audio and visuals, and also our sanitation and security staff. I would like to thank them, and also our sponsors, without whom this could not have been possible. And now we have provision of high tea after this, and for the faculty we have arranged towards the conference hall, and all other staff can take high tea towards the back side. Thank you once again. And we meet after this high tea for the MS multiple sclerosis meet. We continue.